Hey, it's that time of year again. We're in the middle of Festival of the Lost. My bad. As you might expect, I have some thoughts, so let's get into it. Hey everyone, I'm Rizeki, and welcome to my review of the Festival of the Lost event in Destiny 2. If you're new here, thanks for the click. I've been making a few of these design review types of videos lately, so definitely give my other ones a watch if you end up liking this one. Anyway, today we're talking about the Festival of the Lost. Every so often, usually mid-season, Bungie gives us a seasonal event that lasts a few weeks. Festival of the Lost is the October spooky Halloween event, but there is also the Dawning for the December holiday season, Guardian Games for the summer, and Solstice around August to celebrate the release of the game. Each of these events boils down to a new returning game mode, some event loot, and of course a suite of new and returning cosmetics. What makes Festival of the Lost stick out though is that most players tend to not like it very much compared to other events. While none of the events are over the top in terms of content, there's something about Lost that seems different and out of place. So let's take a look at what those reasons are, what an event should consist of, and what could be done to make it better. So what are we looking for with a seasonal event? Overall, we want events to give a small refresh for players in the middle of the season. We want to give our regular players something new to do, and also maybe win back some players who stopped playing earlier in the season. Of course, we want to also sell cosmetics to players, but if players like the event content, they will naturally be more willing to pay for microtransactions. Here's a short list of event components that make an event good. 1. A fun and interesting game mode. 2. Great loot. 3. A unique and engaging out-of-game loop. And 4. Great overall flavor. Flavor could be decorations, characters, lore, cosmetics, etc. Really anything that adds to the atmosphere of the event. How does Lost stack up to these? Let's give a short overview of how the event works, then we can compare it to our list. When first logging in during Lost, we make our way to everyone's favorite Space Granny, Ava Levante, grab our event item, the Masquerader's Mask, as well as some spectral pages. We're then given an event quest that acts as our guide for how to interact with the event. Following our quest, we equip the mask, load into the event game mode, Haunted Lost sectors, and go to town. Upon completion of a Haunted Lost sector, we will be given some event weapons, some event currency in the form of candy, maybe an eerie engram or two, and we also manifest any spectral pages we have in our inventory. We then return to Ava, unlock pages in the Book of the Forgotten, and get a drop of the new event weapon. And then basically just rinse and repeat until we complete the rest of the event challenges. We could start by looking at our event game mode, Haunted Lost sectors. We want the mode to be fun and engaging and also have a good amount of replayability. After queuing into a Haunted Lost sector, you and 2 other players are dropped into one of 4 reskin Lost sectors. After killing a small number of adds, summoning circles start spawning. Standing in the summoning circle will capture the zone, and once complete, a Headless One mini-boss will spawn. The objective is to defeat as many Headless Ones as possible within the time limit. Once time is up, a big boss will spawn. This boss has a gated health bar, and at each gate we have to defeat more Headless Ones in order to receive pumpkin charges, which then can be thrown at the boss to break its shield. Defeating the boss rewards you with loot. So let's start with the good parts of the game mode. For one, it has a unique gameplay compared to other game modes. 2, this year brings us a new legend difficulty option. And 3, the enemy density is pretty good. I especially like the new legend difficulty, and it's mostly what I've been playing, since it gives more rewards, and the standard difficulty was kind of a slog in previous years. I think what is more interesting is what we could change or fix. First, there's a big lack of fresh game mode content compared to last year. We were given the same 4 Haunted Lost sectors that we got last year, and although I don't expect too much new content to be added, I also didn't want the same exact content as last year. I played those Lost sectors to death, and it would be nice to have something maybe a little different. Maybe we could add a Neomuna Lost sector, because that's new content in the game. Maybe a Throne World Lost sector, since it matches the theme of Season of the Witch. Something like that. Next, the game mode itself isn't very replayable. This is a common issue with events, but for something that we're expected to replay constantly over the course of the next 2 to 3 weeks, we want it to be a bit more replayable than it is. Part of this is, of course, adding maybe new Lost sectors into the mix, but we could also add some interesting mechanics to freshen up the game mode itself on each run. Also, I want to point out that I don't expect a ton of dev time to be invested into a single 2 to 3 week event. We want the devs to be scrappy and add content that's easy to implement but gives a large benefit. This comes from me being a dev who's worked on in-game seasonal events before. What this brings us to is incorporating pre-existing mechanics and content into the event. This is exactly why we only get reskinned Lost sectors. It's pre-existing content that's easily reused while still providing a decent amount of new content. The most popular mechanic in recent times has been the roguelite mechanics found in Deep Dives and Savathûn Spire. How about we pull the Asa's gift mechanic from Deep Dives? On each headless one kill, drop a gift buff that augments the player's abilities. Maybe we could have some limitations on the max number of gifts so things don't get too crazy, but having a bunch of active gifts could be really fun and changes how the mode feels every single time you play it. Maybe we could change the gift to a trick or treat, where you have a 50% chance of getting a positive buff and maybe a 50% chance of getting a negative one. We could, of course, take already existing gifts that Deep Dive uses, but for negatives, we could add things like Pervading Darkness, maybe make reloads take longer, etc. There are probably other ways of increasing replayability, but I think this one is actually a really fun idea, and it's easy enough to copy from previous activities. In terms of loot, I think this year has improved a lot. Of course, we were given access to our event weapons, the Braytech Werewolf, Macabre, Jurassic Green, and the newly added a Cosmic Grenade Launcher. Hopefully I said those correctly. Which, by the way, side note, I do recommend farming a good Macabre for PvP. It's a really good sniper. We also are given candy, which we could spend on grab bags for random loot. And newly added this year, we have Eerie Engrams. This is a great addition. We could either decrypt them as is for really good amounts of materials, such as enhancement cores, or we could decrypt them with some candy for event weapons, or even more interestingly, for exotic armor. This is a great opportunity to grind for good rolls on armor that you're missing, and I'll probably be doing it for my Warlock this year since I'm pretty short on good stat rolls. I'm mostly a Hunter player, of course. Finally, we were given the amazing new Lost Memento, which gives crafted weapons a matte black leather-like shader option. Great loot makes events great, so this is a very good update for the Lost event. Our out-of-game loop is not so awesome, though. We were tasked with collecting pages in various playlists, bringing them to Haunted Lost sectors to be manifested, and then turning them in at the tower for some silly Halloween lore. We also have some event challenges, which in general will be automatically completed for just playing the game during the event, like getting auto rifle kills and things like that. The pages are honestly really boring and tedious to collect, and the end result of getting lore is really only interesting to players who are already invested in the lore side of the game, and really provide nothing of value to the gameplay of the event. We could probably take a page out of the Deck of Whispers, and for each page completed in the Book of the Forgotten, maybe we could be rewarded with an Eerie Engram, event weapon, mats, maybe even a Lost Memento. Just give me a reason to actually grind out those pages, and it would be improved a ton. As always, the event flavor is pretty solid. The tower and Lost Sector decorations are well designed. Environment art did a really good job with this, as they always do. New voice lines from various characters like Amaru during Haunted Lost Sectors are fun, although while I was live streaming the game, I did end up getting the same one or two voice lines over and over and over again, so maybe some variety or just spacing out the voice lines would be nice. In this section, let's also give a mention to cosmetics and microtransactions, since I kind of count those in the flavor category. The Festival of the Lost Skins are usually pretty decent. I think Hunters won this year in terms of visuals, but the other two classes are fine too. Luckily, you could purchase these skins purely with Bright Dust, which is awesome and greatly appreciated by me. I had nearly 20,000 Bright Dust at the start of the event to spend. If you do want to spend money, it'll cost you 1,500 silver or approximately $15 US per skin pack. There's also a ton of other cosmetics in the shop for those interested. There's also an event upgrade for around $10, but this is a total scam. Don't buy it. You're basically just paying for a single shader and some other garbage like a ghost projection. You're not going to use it. Don't spend the $10 for nothing. Don't let the deluge of event advertisements pressure you into buying it. I got at least 2 or 3 on the first day of the event, and it was frustrating because I logged in because there was an event, and I didn't want to spend any more money than I wanted to. But speaking of those ads, did no one at Bungie double check the graphics? Instead of making brand new images, we literally just got the same ones as last year with the new cosmetics slapped on top of last year's. Nice. So with mostly positives this year, why do players not like the Lost event? I think it boils down to a boring and repetitive game mode in Haunted Lost sectors, and the heavy pushing of microtransactions and cosmetics. Like I said earlier, if players like the game content and enjoy playing the event, they'll naturally be more likely to buy microtransactions and would be less likely to complain about them. Players also want to feel that their money is well spent, so a $10 upgrade pass for literally nothing of value is a bit of a slap in the face. I think that just improving the game mode and making the out-of-game loop more engaging or rewarding would greatly improve the entire event. A lot of these points could also be applied to other events like the Dawning or Solstice and not just Festival of the Lost. Hopefully you agree with a lot of the points I made. I try to make suggestions that I feel would improve parts of the game, so if you like my suggestions or, well, don't like them, let me know in the comments down below. And if you like the video, definitely give the video a rating, subscribe for more Destiny design analysis like this one, as well as build guides and general Destiny videos you might find interesting. And, of course, you can catch me live playing this year's Festival of the Lost over on twitch.tv/Rozeki. I'm usually live around 9 or 10 p.m. Eastern, and I go for 3 or 4 hours. Come say hi, let me know what you think about the event live, and also hop into some Haunted Lost sectors with me. With all that said, as always, I've been Rozeki, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.